company was winning market share in more places than it had done for several years. But Unilever, which is the world's biggest ice cream maker with brands such as Magnum, Cornetto and Ben & Jerry's, said that ongoing travel restrictions and poor weather in Europe meant that turnover in that category had not yet recovered to pre-pandemic levels. The UK and New Zealand have agreed to a new trade deal aimed at eliminating tariffs as high as 10% on a wide range of goods. The economic impact is likely to be minimal, as only 0.2% of UK trade is done with New Zealand. But there is already some fallout this morning. British sheep farmers have expressed fears that they could now face increased competition from lamb imports. Well, Sky's business correspondent Paul Kelso joins me now from a sheep farm in Witney in Oxfordshire. Paul, is this really something that farmers ought to be worried about? I mean, I thought the New Zealanders were more concerned about selling their sheep to the Chinese than to us.
Well, that is certainly the position the government's taking in, which is that agriculture, as with the deal with Australia, agreed 6 months ago, in June, but still not signed, poses no genuine threat, despite the removal of tariffs on imported meat from New Zealand, staged over 15 years. They say, the government, that New Zealand could already be swamping the British market should they choose to under WTO rules, and instead they choose to focus on China. The concern here on this farm, this is Church Farm in Northmoor, just outside Oxford, is that in time this could change the metrics. If China were to put up trade barriers, then that New Zealand meat would need somewhere else to go. And once again, they feel that agriculture has been the price that the UK has paid in the interest of getting a post-Brexit trade deal done from the ground up. This isn't a rollover of an old EU deal, as so many of Britain's new trade deals are. This is a bespoke deal, albeit in the model of the Australian deal. And I spoke to the farmer here this morning. He said his concern is this is completely the wrong focus for the government. We should be focused on UK agriculture.
We're moving sustainable agriculture and food production from small family farms like this to mega corporations 12,000 miles away. That doesn't seem like a very smart idea to me. Instead of this rather lovely bucolic scene, that's going to be replaced by ships coming 12,000 miles away, spewing their contents along the way.
Now, the government has chosen to focus on the benefits it says will come to British consumers in the shape of cheaper plonk and New Zealand white wine and honey, which will no longer attract tariffs when it comes here, and indeed the benefits to car makers and British clothing manufacturers, all the larger exporters to New Zealand, which will no longer face tariffs. They also say the service industries, professionals will find it easier to work in the two nations with the removal of some of the barriers, so they see benefits there. But as you said, Ian, this will have a negligible impact on UK GDP. The government's own figures say at best it will be flat for the UK. The real value here, as they see it, is symbolic. A second trade deal struck post-Brexit with a partner in the Pacific region, and that is the real target here for the UK. They've applied for membership of the Pacific Trade Partnership. New Zealand and Australia are both in that, but so too are Canada, Japan, Mexico, big economies. This is the new trade bloc that the UK wants to get full access to, having moved on from the largest trade bloc of all on our doorstep.
All right, Paul, thanks for that. Some of the other day's business stories to bring you now. And the government borrowing last month was the second highest figure for September since records began. Data from the Office for National Statistics showed the government borrowing stood at £21.8 billion in September, down from £28.8 billion a year earlier. It also shows that total borrowing so far this financial year has reached £108.1 billion. That's since the end of March, of course. That is £101.2 billion less than in the same period last year. RELX, the specialist data provider and exhibitions organiser, said this morning that sales in the first 9 months of the year were up 6% on the same period in 2020 on an underlying basis. The company, which is now the 13th biggest in the FTSE 100, said the performance had been better than it was expecting. It said growth had been particularly strong in its scientific, technical and medical publishing division, but also cited good growth in its risk division, driven by demand for analytics products aimed at helping eliminate fraud. The support services and defence contractor Babcock has completed the sale of Fraser-Nash, its systems engineering and technology consultancy arm, for £293 million to the US firm KBR. Well, the business dates back to the legendary sports car manufacturer founded in 1922 by the engineer Archibald Fraser-Nash, which later designed and produced machine gun turrets for Wellington and Lancaster bombers during the Second World War. Well, Babcock also said it expected to report underlying operating profits of £115 million for the 6 months to the end of September. And the bus and rail operator First Group is to sell Greyhound Lines, the famous US intercity bus business, for $172 million to the German transport company Flix Mobility. First Group had been looking for a buyer for Greyhound since before the pandemic. Well, the sale means that First Group is now a UK-focused business following the sale of its US school bus operations to the private equity firm EQT earlier this year. First Group bought Greyhound for $3.6 billion, including debt from the US firm Laidlaw, in 2007. And a bit of breaking news. During the last hour, the London Evening Standard has announced that its editor Emily Sheffield is stepping down by mutual agreement. Ms Sheffield, who is the sister-in-law of the former Prime Minister David Cameron, had only been in the job for 15 months after she took over from the former Chancellor, George Osborne. Her deputy, Charlotte Ross, will assume the role of acting editor with immediate effect. Now, the Hemerdon tungsten and tin mine, 7 miles northeast of Plymouth, is reckoned to be the world's third largest resource of tungsten. It closed in 2018 when its previous owner, the Australian mining company Wolf Minerals, ran out of money. But the mine was bought out of administration the following year, and today its new owner, Tungsten West, made its stock market debut. Joining me now, I'm very pleased to say, is Max Denning. He is Chief Executive of Tungsten West. Max, very good morning to you. You've raised £39 million from the IPO today. Is that going to be enough to get the mine back into commercial production?
Yes, so look, we published our feasibility study in March of this year. We then went out to the debt markets and also raised £35 million of project finance from Orion Resource Partners. And so it's that coupled with the £39 million equity raise. We were originally looking at raising 25 million through the flotation, and we were oversubscribed and ended up taking 39.
Good problem to have, Max. What's the timescale in terms of returning to commercial production?
Yeah, so it's going to be about a 12 to 14-month rebuild program, and then we're also factoring in about a 6-month ramp-up period when we'll get into full production. So we're roughly about 18 months away from being cash flow positive.
I think Wolf Minerals invested something like £170 million in the site during its ownership. They had problems with the processing plant there. Have those all been ironed out now?
Yeah, so look, Wolf had a couple of issues. One was the fact the plant wasn't on that much at the time, given equipment choices they had in the circuit. And the second issue was associated around the recovery of the tungsten and tin minerals and kind of a slight lack of understanding of the mineralogy and metallurgy here at Hemerdon. And for those two reasons, essentially at the back end of the plant, they were producing about a third of the material they were expecting to produce. However, they did make significant improvements during the 3 years of operations, but by that point, it was too little too late. So we've gone back in with the plant now turned off, which is much easier to deal with. We've gone back to first principles, understanding the mineralogy, the metallurgy, doing several rounds of test work. And as I said before, that culminated in the feasibility study, which we published earlier this year. And looking at resolving all those issues associated with the plant being on more of the time, as well as recovering the tungsten and tin minerals. We're then kind of supercharging the entire thing with the introduction of X-ray transmission ore sorting, which kind of radically changes the economics of producing both tungsten and tin, but also has the other added benefit of producing aggregates as a byproduct of the processing route.
And do you have the skills base in Devon that you require to run the mine?
Yes, to a certain extent. We'll always look at also bringing foreign labour into the market as well. Ultimately, the UK and especially the Southwest, the mining sector there has diminished over several decades. Obviously, we've been able to re-engage with a lot of the former Wolf Minerals employees and consultants, and that's really been our baseload of employees to date.
Now, clearly, tin prices have been exceptionally strong this year. What's the position been like with tungsten?
Yeah, tungsten's followed a similar vein. I think it was a lot quieter during the coronavirus pandemic because manufacturing was down to a certain extent. But since lockdowns have eased, you've seen tungsten prices going above $300 a metric ton unit, which is basically $30,000 a ton, and we're seeing it climbing week by week. So a strong pricing outlook for tungsten, especially as you see significant infrastructure spend throughout the global economy. So exciting times ahead.
Why is it, Max, that although we've had a record price for tin this year, that hasn't been met with an increase in production? Is it just simply that it takes so long to get these production facilities back online?
I think you've had two issues with the tin market. The one is obviously during the lockdowns, a lot more people were buying a lot more electronic goods, and obviously tin's mainly used in solder, so you had an increased demand on that side. And then I think you've had a bit of supply disruption in the tin market, especially with Burma, Indonesia, and Malaysia. So those two issues, both on the demand side coupled with then a lack of supply, has meant that you've had this sharp rise in tin prices.
And what are the main industrial applications for tungsten? I mean, to the average man on the street, you get tungsten tips on darts, but what are the main industrial applications?
I always like to classify tungsten as an enabling metal. It is used in all forms of manufacturing. If you want to cut something, if you want to drill something. So, you see those giant boring machines developing in HS2. That's all tungsten tipped. Any car being cut, any engine, if you want to go to space, if you want to fly, tungsten is your go-to metal to enable all the activities to happen. That's why it's always classed as such a strategic mineral. Always ranks very highly, both in the US, the EU, and the UK. It's got some sort of upsides associated with the use case as well, given the fact it's used in wind turbines, EV charging stations, nuclear, and so forth.
All right, Max, good to talk to you this morning. Thanks for joining me.
Perfect. Thanks, Ian.
And I should say, by the way, that the price is up 1.5p. I was just going to say there, the price of Tungsten West has made a first day slight pop, up 1.5p the last I looked from the issue price. Now, stock markets in the Asia-Pacific region had another mixed session as concerns over the embattled Chinese property developer Evergrande resurfaced. Shares of Evergrande itself fell again by more than 11% after a deal to sell some of its assets collapsed overnight. The company is facing an $83 million coupon repayment on one of its bonds in 48 hours' time. Stocks in Tokyo, Mumbai and Hong Kong fell. Sydney was more or less unchanged. Shanghai finished very modestly ahead, as you can see there. Well, European stock markets have traded to the downside since the open a couple of hours ago or so. Here's the current picture. All of the main indices in negative territory right now. Among talking points, shares of the software group SAP, which is the biggest company in Germany's DAX index, they're ahead by 1.5% after a soothing set of quarterly results. Here in London, the FTSE 100 is also in negative territory right now, currently off 1/3 of 1% as falls in the mining heavyweights have weighed on the index. The biggest faller in percentage terms is Rio Tinto, one of the world's biggest mining companies. That is on unease amid investors at the ambition of its latest carbon emission targets, plus a drop in metals prices on the LME. Meanwhile, as you can see on the screen there, Smiths Group and BAE Systems are both lower. Don't panic, shareholders in those companies. That is only because they've both gone ex-dividend today. In other words, anyone buying today doesn't qualify for the latest dividend. It's an automatic adjustment in the share price. Among the gainers, I mentioned them earlier in the programme, Unilever, top blue chip performer, currently up by nearly 3.5%, while the wealth manager St James's Place, its shares are ahead by 1.25% following a trading update. Outside the FTSE, the leading gainer is Renishaw, the engineering company. Its shares are currently ahead by nearly 10% on full-year results, while First Group is up by just over 1.5% on that sale of Greyhound. On the foreign exchange markets, well, the pound is pretty well unchanged there against it, about 1/5 of 1% lower against the dollar, more or less unchanged against the euro, holding on to recent gains amid growing expectations of an interest rate rise in the near future. As for the oil price, well, that has slipped this morning amid signs that some investors have been taking profits after the recent strong run. A barrel of Brent crude will currently cost you $85.01 a barrel. That is down 0.9 of 1%. Well, joining me now is Jean Roach. She's fund manager of UK and Euro small cap equities at Schroders. Jean, very good morning to you. A lot of results to digest today. Well, let's start with the mid-cap sector, which is your speciality. What's caught your eye there?
Well, you mentioned Renishaw, and that's been a strong. That's had a strong trading update this morning for Q1. You mentioned the full year results, but I think the new news was in the Q1 trading update. and their semiconductors and electronic strength plays into their strength. So it may not be sort of a household name, but it's I think it's a bit of a jewel in the UK crown in terms of stocks.
I should probably declare an interest, Jean. One of my children has a holding of Renishaw in their junior ISA. I mean, it's very much a play on the Chinese industrial recovery to an extent, isn't it?
It is a little bit, but I think it's got strengths more generally in sort of robotics and automation, and that's sort of a general structural trend that we can expect to see just growing all the time.
Now, we also heard this morning from Spectris, which is another leading company in the mid 250. What did you make of what they had to say today?
Yeah, I think, very strong order book there, and will follow through in sales as well in time. So sales not too shabby either, sort of 12-13% growth in the first quarter for them. So, I think, again, seeing strength in another strong UK company, which helps with the productivity of other companies. So, a company that I expect to have a bright future.
Now, up in the FTSE 100, of course, we heard from Barclays today. I mean, Just Daily, the CEO, just must wonder what he has to do to get investors interested. I mean, they've more or less doubled quarterly profits, and yet the share price is lower this morning.
Yeah, and in common with many of the banks with strong investment banking businesses, they're really riding off the back of that as well. But I think the shares have been very strong coming into the numbers today. So although it's a good set of numbers, I think it's as we call it, travel and arrive there. But I think really higher interest rates for all of the banking sector are likely to drive higher revenue as net interest margins rise. And that will be a shot in the arm for this bank and many others, the likes of Lloyds and so on.
All right, Jean, I'm afraid we have to leave it there. Great to talk to you this morning. Hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Well, still to come here on Ian King Live, the boss of Hydro on his plans to keep up pace in the booming home fitness market. Don't go away.
The house prices were just getting worse and worse, and we just couldn't afford them. I mean, we were sharing the flat, weren't we? It was like £1,500 a month, and it was only a bedroom. And obviously, as a couple, we love living with other people, but we kind of just wanted our own space after a while, didn't we? And because it wasn't just the house prices as well, we kind of felt we didn't have much freedom. We were kind of working an awful lot just to afford the apartment.
I mean, there's a few challenges that you have to get used to when you move into a van. Obviously, when we lived in an apartment in London, it was a normal size apartment, but moving into a van, you kind of have to get rid of a lot of stuff, and you only kind of keep what you need and use what you need. For example, getting used to kind of water usage and electricity, because obviously we're completely solar. It is a challenge in itself to try and get used to that kind of way of living.
We're also members of the Caravan Club as well, so they do certified location sites, which are a bit cheaper than campsites. You can get them around for about £5 or £10 per van, and compared to rent prices in London, that's nothing really, and you feel a lot more secure there. So that's another one of the challenges, is finding somewhere each night. But we haven't really found any problems with it, have we?
No, it's actually quite enjoyable trying to find your next spot. It's exciting. It's almost like planning your holiday each time. You get to pick where you want to stay for the night.
We've recently ran out of electricity because the sun's just not been out, so our battery's completely dead. So our freezer started to defrost itself this morning. We were kind of using our phone torches, trying to put buckets under the freezer to stop it leaking. So it's not all fun and games, but but yeah, and hopefully we'll get into Europe for the winter.
Yeah, that's the
plan, is to get down to Spain.
It's a good excuse too, as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome back. Now, as a study reveals that 8 in 10 of us would like to repurpose a room solely for exercise or relaxation following lockdown, it follows that there is increased demand for home workout equipment. But it's not just standard treadmills or rowing mills we're after. Users apparently want a full, immersive and personalised experience. Well, one company claiming to offer that is Hydro. And joining me now is its founder and chief executive, Bruce Smith, who is a former US national rowing coach. Bruce, very good morning to you. So how do you recreate the sensation of being on the water in a rowing machine?
It is really an amazing experience. So we take you out on the water. We have an amazing crew of people out there, and you're connecting with an athlete who has been to the Olympics in many cases, and they're taking you out on the river. So you experience the splash and the sweat of being out on River Thames or the Charles River or on Lake Lucerne every morning. So there's something new and exciting waiting for you. And I think something that always surprises our members is that we actually broadcast live from the water. So it's not a pre-recorded experience. It's actually live.
The kit is not for the faint-hearted, though. I mean, it costs at least £1,800. How have sales been here in the UK?
Sales are stunningly great, and I think the important thing to understand about that is when you compare it to a gym, so it's for your whole family, and it's actually, on a monthly basis, I think it's a cost savings. Overall, when you look at the expense of going to the gym on a regular basis and you compare it over the lifetime of the hydro, it's a wonderful deal, and it's made for your whole family. So it's not doesn't require any adjustments. Whether you're 12 years old or 65 years old, it's comfortable and it's ready to go. It's waiting for you every morning, and you don't have to get in your car or go down the street. You just go to your next room. That is now your immersive experience waiting for you as you roll out of bed.
Now, obviously, you're longer established in the United States. How have sales there been affected by the whole return to work? Is exercising in the home sort of survived all that?
Yeah, it's interesting. None of my friends actually have gone back to work the way they used to. They go back to the office a little bit. And we had our best sales day on the first Monday in September of this year. So that was lapping the pandemic. And we've just seen extraordinary growth. People really are, I think, very, very hungry for that immersive experience, and most of all, for an efficient workout. I think everybody knows they should work out, and they're looking for something that they can get done, in the least amount of time. And rowing really answers that in a way that other exercises just don't.
A lot of people have compared your business with Peloton. Are you comfortable with those comparisons?
It is always very flattering to be compared with a company as successful as Peloton. Rowing is very different. It's a full body exercise. So when you're sitting on a bicycle, you're using your legs, which is excellent. When you're sitting on a rowing machine, you're using your legs.
Wave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it, you're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hello, lovely listeners. Tune in to the renewed show with Charlotte. Make it a date to listen to me this and every Thursday at 5 p.m. on Starr Radio UK. Tune in to an hour of power, an hour of encouragement, an hour to inspire you to stay positive and strong in this season. See you there and listen.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina. every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
Turn it on.
Turn it up. Broadcasting live online.
Online, on mobile, and soon on DAB. This is Starr Radio UK, the leading Afro-Caribbean radio station in London.
All around the world.
Body is your man. Bekutu, show them you got the coco set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. We don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for who? For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun.
Broadcasting
blessed.
Worldwide online 24/7. At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Hey there, this is Archie, and it's Starr Radio UK.
This evening. Look at the next neighbor, say, neighbor, I want to praise God in an unusual way. Glory to God. How many are ready to praise Him? We're going to praise the Lord in the Caribbean way today.
This is Starr Radio UK.
In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
Okay, hello, good morning, and welcome to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Today is Thursday, the 21st day of the month, October 2021. At the time now, 10:40 exactly. I am Archie. I want to salute you. I want to salute your friends and your loved ones, your families, and that of ours as well. Wherever you tune in from this morning, thank you very much for joining us. A special good morning goes to Azo Francis Omega Namani, all the way in Enugu State in Nigeria. A special good morning also goes to my colleagues, Mr. Frank Davis, Mr. Olayomi, Kojo D, and Felix all the way in Aberdeen. Kwame, good morning to you, bros. Charlie, you there? To Mr. Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin. Kofi, I hope you are doing good. To all our listeners here in the UK, those of you in the US, those of you in Asia, those of you in Europe, those of you in Australia, on the African continent, especially those of you in Nigeria, Uganda, Ghana, South Africa, I salute you all and I welcome you to the program. Okay, so this is how the program goes. If you're first time of tuning in to listen to us on Thursdays, I'm going to bring you the quote for the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel updates as well. We then move on from there and then have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe, known as Global Trotting. At 11 o'clock exactly, we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who will be bringing us updates from Nigeria. Well, I can tell you emphatically some of the stories making the rounds there, but we'll be bringing you that when he joins us. And then at 12 o'clock, the lines are opened for you to add your voice to the discussions. But before then, if you want to add your voice to the discussions, you can put your comments on our Facebook page. Or you can text or WhatsApp it to us, and I promise you I'm going to read it. It's 0753966174, 0753966174. So once again, welcome to the show. At 1 o'clock exactly, the curtains are brought down for the end of the program. But I tell you all the time, if it's making the headline, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar, we gonna touch on it. But you get yourself seated. If you are very comfortably standing, hold on to something. Get yourself a hot or cold drink, whichever is appropriate for you. And I tell you one thing, you are sure of arrival safely at your destination. And let's say good morning to Shodimu Israel. He says, good morning, Archie. It's been a while. Yes, Shodimu. Where have you been? You've been quite busy, haven't you? But nice to see you once again. All right then. Playing in the background, something from David Edwin. Some nice reggae gospel tune there. Well, I say it all the time, there's nothing that a nice reggae tune, a gospel one especially, cannot sort for you in the morning. Even if you are that sleepy, you can just get into it. Massive good morning once again and welcome. Jesus must be honored. Okay, so the question of the day says, true success is working which always involves the exertion of energy, both mental and physical. True success is work which always involves the exertion of energy, both mental and physical. So what have you been up to? Well, Starr Radio UK. It is still your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in the world. Okay, moving on straight to the weather front. Let me tell you what the weather is going to be like. I woke up this morning at dawn to see some production, and I was like, whoops. When I got the windows open, it was chilly. I was like, okay. I didn't expect that. So the code has arrived. Let me tell you what is happening. But let me say good morning to my able producer in the house, Francis Guy, who's pulling all the buttons and making sure that we are taken along nicely. Francis, morning to you. Okay, the weather forecast this afternoon, any lingering showers will soon clear. Becoming dry and fine with plenty of sunshine for most. It will be a cooler day with a strong northwesterly wind. Now tonight will continue windy, but it will remain dry with plenty of clear spells. Patchy cloud will tend to develop towards dawn, perhaps bringing the odd spot of rain a cooler night than of late. I can smell my coffee. It's going to be waking me up pretty soon. Now the total temperature is going to be 13 degrees. The lowest is going to be 4 degrees. UV level is going to be low. Pollution is going to be low as well. Sunset 17:55. Sunrise 07:34 hours. That brings us to the end of the weather forecast for you. But let me say good morning once again. Shodimu says, yeah, up and down. Low, still on the Nigeria issue. Nnamdi Kanu in court today. I tell you, he's in court, but lawyers and journalists and everyone have been barred from coming into the court. Did they bring him there at all? Maybe they don't want us to know. But it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
I have a question. I have a question.
We take a quick break, and once we come back, I'll bring you the travel update. Stay tuned. Don't you worry. I'll bring you the rest of that reggae tune. I know you want to be in the mood for the Thursday morning. Rocking and making sure everything is ticking along nicely. Stay tuned.
Hello, lovely listeners. Tune in to the renewed show with Charlotte. Make it a date to listen to me this and every Thursday at 5 p.m. on Starr Radio UK. Tune in to an hour of power, an hour of encouragement, an hour to inspire you to stay positive and strong in this season. See you there and listen.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. I'm keeping updated. I promise I'll bond the Starr Radio UK travel update that comes your way every weekday from 10:40. It's now 10:46. Fatimo Laniyen, good morning to you. Okay, so on the underground this morning, there are minor delays on the Metropolitan line between Moore Park and Amersham Chesham due to a train cancellation. Good service on all the other routes. Now, Waterloo and City Line have got planned closures, as you know. All the others, good service. Now, TFL Rail, DLR, London Tramleg, London Underground, good service there as well. But continue to keep your eyes on the roads as we keep you navigated. I promise our bond. On the riverbank this morning, I can tell you assuredly there is good service throughout. And let's move on to the National Rail. On the National Rail, minor delays on Cross Country, Great Western Railway, minor delays, South Western Railway Special Service, Southeastern Special Service, and Thameslink Special Service there as well. But keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. I will keep you navigated. The final segment of the travel update, that's the major routes in London. A4 has got closures, Central London Red Routes closures, and Blackwater no serious delays. If you can avoid it, please do your best to avoid that. But on that note, let me say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. I say enjoy your commute today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the road.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Tune in to the renewed show with Charlotte. Make it a date to listen to me this and every Thursday at 5 p.m. on Starr Radio UK. Tune in to an hour of power, an hour of encouragement, an hour to inspire you to stay positive and strong in this season. See you there and listen.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome.
Okay, welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to exactly 9 minutes to the top of the hour. But it is our time for Global Trotting. Shadimu Israel, Frank is okay. He's okay. Now he is going to be joining pretty soon. So yeah, look out for his comments, right? But well, some of the tourists making the rounds. As I said, Mr. Olayomi will be joining us exactly at 11 o'clock to bring you the details of those updates. But hey, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and barrister Aloy Ejimako at the Federal High Court Abuja, and then Kanu brought to court amidst tight security. He was brought to the court on in a black sport utility vehicle at about 8 a.m. And he's being tried before Justice Binta Nyako over charges of treasonable felony and terrorism. Shadimu says lawyers are barred from entering, and Ejimako insists on not entering the courtroom alone without the other lawyers. When and how did Nigeria get to this stage? Well, it is Starr Radio UK. No dispute over ownership of Benin artifacts, says Oba of Benin. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, some other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world, starting from home here as well. Doctors call for COVID Plan B to start in England. Doctors Union says ministers must reimpose measures such as compulsory face masks as cases rise. But yesterday we were talking about it, or the day before yesterday, saying that well, it's not anything that is and they are looking at the economy more than the NHS per se. But you know, interestingly, if we say they're saying that we should take the vaccines, we took the vaccines, and now they're saying that you have to take the booster. If not, So until when? To what end? All right, then, Starr Radio UK. And well, NHS under highest pressure ever, says the head, Dr. Andrew Goodall, says COVID waiting lists and staff shortages have left NHS Wales under pressure. So maybe that's what these leaders are looking at, or these England doctors are looking at and saying that we have to do something about it. What do you think? What should government do? Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. Well, World Organization says job inequity, my apologies, means pandemic will drag on. Now, slow vaccine supply to poorer nations means the crisis will last longer than it needs to. Experts are saying, of course, if we don't deal with it, we don't deal holistically with it as a continent, my apologies, as the whole, as the world as a whole, then we're going to be having a problem when it comes to we dealing with it. One country can say, oh, we've dealt with it. The next moment, things are coming from other countries. Your people are interacting with other people from other countries, and I can tell you that it's just a matter of time. You have another strain of the virus coming through. Well, Trump to launch rival to social media giants. The former U.S. president was banned from Twitter and Facebook following the U.S. Capitol riot, but he's now going to launch his own social media platform. Now, South Korea launches first homegrown space rocket. That is South Korea as well. The move marks a step forward in its space ambition and comes amid an arms race with the North. Well, is the U.S. going to be helping them? For sure, I know they will. Now, leak reveals lobbying to change key climate report. The countries are asking the UN to play down the need to move rapidly away from fossil fuels. So who are being bribed? Are they going to come out to spill? A Texas nurse has been found guilty of killing patients. William Davis injected at least 7 patients with air and could now face the death penalty. What was he up to? Oh my goodness. And well, that toll has passed 180 in Nepal. Indian floods. Heavy rain triggers flash floods and landslides in parts of India and Nepal. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I feel I'm moving, you know, I'm moving. It's not an earthquake, you know. It's the music that is moving me. Well, I was warned I'll die very quickly in Russian jail. Sergei Savliev, okay, is seeking asylum in France after he leaked videos showing abuse in Russia prison. Well, the French, please offer him that for safety. A man has died in Crete while trying to save his grandson. A 61-year-old was trying to prevent the boys, 8, 7, and 10, from being swept out to sea and ended up losing his life. I bet he'll be very pleased with that, saying that, well, at least I lost my life to save theirs. What about that? It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now moving on to the African continent as well. Eswatini orders Facebook closure to curb protests. I will bring you more on that. Everybody decides, let's go on social media platform, let's block that one, let's stop them. But what do you think? Separatists in Cameroon and Nigeria have united. Armed militants in the two countries are said to be helping each other with weapons and intelligence. Why not? If they are fighting the same cause, separating from the mainland. Then on the African continent as well, what's happening there? Ramaphosa wants Mozambique jihadists at Machel Memorial. You remember Machel, Samora Machel was the former Mozambican leader. Okay. Well, in Nigeria's Delta area, there is an attempt to clean up decades of oil spills and gas flaring. It's all coming to you from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. To see whether I can get some pictures of Nnamdi Kanu appearing or arriving at the courts this morning in his white, you know, his cladded white apparel that he likes wearing, his signature clothing. Well, it is Starr Radio UK. Yeah. When it comes to Ghana, the IGP, the new IGP, has been praised. Every foolishness has its limits, says one journalist looking at the new IGP, Manasi Pokes Shatwale. Bawumia should be grateful to MPP even if he loses flag bearer bid. Ata Kennedy says, why should he be? Is it because he wasn't part of the NPP from the word go? Well, she's been quiet. Somebody who's been very quiet, not involving herself in such banters. But the running mate for John Mahama, Nana Jane, Professor Nana Jane Puku Ajiman, has said, Commander Factory, tell Ghanaians exactly what you've done with it. We will be looking into details. And then on a sad note, the Ghanaians Ghana's ambassador to Italy has died of cardiac arrest. So this and a lot more I'm going to be looking at. But enjoy the music. I should be having Miss Olayomi any moment from now. And we'll continue with the show. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones. It is Starr Radio UK. Enjoy.
Work,
at home,
on your smartphone. On your smartphone. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
This is Starr Radio. Hey.
From SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hello, lovely listeners. Tune in to the renewed show with Charlotte. Make it a date to listen to me this and every Thursday at 5 p.m. on Star Radio UK. Tune in to an hour of power, an hour of encouragement, an hour to inspire you to stay positive and strong in this season. See you there and listen.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Star Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Welcome back to the program. It is Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to exactly 6 minutes past the top of the hour. It is a Thursday edition of the morning show, and I'm sure I've got Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who has joined in, who I cannot see at the moment. Okay, let's see whether we can get him now. Yes, but we can still not see him. Okay, so whilst we're trying to wait to see him on the screens, and then we can bring him your way. Well, information coming through shows that Nnamdi Kanu has arrived at the court. He arrived at 8 a.m. Well, however, there was information coming through or trickling in saying that, well, journalists and lawyers were barred from getting into the chamber, and therefore the lawyer of Nnamdi Kanu says that he's not going to be going alone into the courts. But what do you think? It is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We should have Mr. Olayomi Koiki pretty soon throwing more light on that. Okay. But whilst we wait for him, let me see if we can get through to him. We're trying to get through to Mr. Olayomi Koiki this morning. Okay. Let me see. Yomi, good morning.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
Okay, all right. Bear with me. Let me just switch around with the system.
Okay.
I'm not sure. It seems one of the system is not picking the camera.
Okay. Thank you very much. Well, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki trying to sort out the system there. As you know, he's in our North London studios where with his able assistant trying to sort the technical bits out there. Okay. Yesterday there was the vigil that was held to commemorate the first anniversary of the Lekki Toll Gate killings that took place. It was quite an interesting one, because I remember seeing the Metropolitan Police there, the dispatch riders, they were there, and I was like earlier on having is a confrontation or some exchange of words with some of the individuals there. However, I'm not sure, but the vigil went on peacefully until the broadcast ended after 8. So he'll be telling us more on what and how the whole thing just went. In summary, we'll try to summarize that to us. So wherever you are, don't you go away. While he's still trying to fix the cameras so that we can see him, let me just bring you a couple of other stories that is making the rounds from Nigeria. Some of the updates from Nigeria. It is Starr Radio UK. A quick commercial break and I'll be with you. Stay tuned. Don't you go away.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to exactly 11 minutes after 11. Whilst we still try to sort Mr. Olayomi Koiki out, let me acknowledge Mr. Frank Davis, who has also joined us this morning. Frank, good morning to you.
Archie, good morning and good morning to our listeners, our viewers, wherever they are. What can we say?
Yeah. How are you?
I've been good. Yesterday evening was a bit of tensed, but it was okay. We nearly had an unfortunate situation, but we're okay.
Yeah. Thank God that everything went.
And let me say special good morning to someone was who is Frank? Someone sent a message.
Shodimu.
Oh, Shodimu.
Shodimu Israel.
Where's Shodimu based?
Shodimu, where are you based?
Let us know where you are based. I'm coming to Nigeria. I'm coming to Nigeria within the next 30 days. So if you are in Nigeria, I think we would like to meet.
Yeah. That would be a nice meeting there. But we have got Mr. Olayomi Koiki. So let me say, Yomi, good morning to you.
Well, good morning, Frank. Good morning, Archie. Good morning to all our viewers. Good morning to all our listeners from around the globe. Sorry for that bit of technical background there, but we're back on, and I say good morning to everyone. It is the 21st of October 2021. What a very busy month of October. But let me come back again to you first in the studio.
Yes. How are you after a long day yesterday?
I'm doing very well. I mean, I got back home just before 10 p.m. and that is, the nature of the job, especially when, there's a lot of, broadcast that has to be done from outside the studio, which is the beauty of the broadcasting. But again, we'd like to, say thank you very much to everyone that stood behind Starr Radio UK, for the last couple of years, and I still continue to give you all the news that is coming out of Nigeria. I do understand, like Frank will always say, the country has not yet totally disintegrated, so we're going to continue to use the word Nigeria is a sovereign state, but I can tell you quite a lot of different view. Even as at yesterday, while I was there, some believe that we can still rectify Nigeria during that night vigil that was held of the 1-year remembrance of the NSAS.
Well, interesting. Just a quick one on that vigil that took place. During the time, I saw the Metropolitan Police approaching the group there, and I was like, okay, exactly what is happening there? But then you were still doing the coverage. Now, what happened and how was attendance? Just a bit on that, so that those who weren't didn't have the opportunity to listen or view will have a view of what happened there.
Well, I mean, it's not the first time that we've seen, the Metropolitan Police attending to the Nigerian High Commission. And I'm sure that goes the same way with almost other embassies here in UK, because that is the job of the UK government, to make sure that, the whole ambassador, the whole embassy within the country is something that is well taken care of. So whenever there is any kind of gathering around the embassy, it is the job of the British police to secure those buildings. And we've seen issues in the past where embassies have been invaded, and Nigerian embassy is one that is also as a point of interest to so many Nigerians for different reasons. So they came down yesterday. Yes, it was a bit of heat up, when one of the officer was saying that people need to move away from the front of the embassy. But I think what he was actually trying to say is you can't put in your banner right in front of the embassy in terms of their railings, but does not mean you are not allowed to do the protest. And eventually they left, but I think about 2 of them came again just to stand by, make sure everything was well organized, which is different from what happened even during the 1-year memorial in Nigeria that we're going to be discussing later on.
Interesting. But that, how was the attendance? And I saw a few people there, which was quite encouraging.
Well, you could say it's quite encouraging. I think if we look at last year, the momentum was much more bigger. Does that mean that people have literally forgotten about what happened last year? The numbers was not very encouraging. There's a sister that came all the way from Leeds after finishing teaching as a teacher in Leeds. So if you imagine, the journey coming from Leeds to attend that event, and then we have people living within the M25 that probably, maybe because there was no set. If the video was there yesterday, it's going to be a total shutdown. If Burna Boy was there yesterday, these were the 2 individuals that came last year, and it just shows how we all interact when it comes to humanity crises. And sometimes people also say it's got nothing to do with the Yorubas movement, but I could tell you, there were a lot of people that were even of the background of the disintegration that were there, either from the the Oduduwa or the Biafrans. But like I said, the number was not much, but one of the brother there says it's not about the numbers, it's about the spirit of those that came. And I can tell you, just as Africans, after the whole almost 2 hours of there, the weather then changed, heavy downpour, and we would normally say from the Yoruba side or the Oduduwa or the Omoluabi that the heaven have literally answered the prayer.
Wow, the heavens was opened after that protest, and we hope that the momentum will still carry on. I say it all the time. If you believe in a cause, you are convicted by it. Don't let any hurdles or any challenges or hindrances hold you back. Stand for it and fight for it. You might even die for it, but at least one day, like the MP who just died, David Ames said. David Ames, now at least he has this, that he was the champion for South End on Sea to become a city, and he has got that. So it will be remembered. What about you? You can still do so. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I think we'll go straight to some of the updates, and we will be having a time where Frank can also interject or say whatever thing that he also comments that he has. But well, as you know, or as I know, Nnamdi Kanu has arrived at the court. He arrived at 8 o'clock. But interestingly, after taking a nice shot, or what do you call it, photograph with his team, they were told that, well, journalists cannot come in. I think it's only one lawyer can come in with him. Now, what has happened after that?
Well, I'll see if I can bring the picture back on the background while we're discussing Nnamdi Kanu. Finally, it seems the federal government, the DSS, has now bowed down by bringing the person that so many individuals around the globe wants to have what it looks like since he was kidnapped, rendition from Kenya, Remember that even while he was outside, he hardly bring his face out. Once in a while, we do see him with the his video coming out with his face, but most of his broadcast was more of an audio. So I've looked at the picture, and I can tell you, those Biafrans will be more than happy to at least know that he is alive, which is the first important thing. Yes, the court premises was in a very, very high, very high security, but eventually, just before 8 o'clock, Nnamdi Kanu arrived at the Abuja High Court. Kanu was wearing a white Fendi designer cloth, which we believe was the same outfit that he was putting on when he was kidnapped. He was not arrested. We must continue to say that, even though the federal government say he was arrested, because no proceeding was taken or allowed while he was kidnapped in Kenya, until brought back to Abuja as well. He's expected, to take his fresh plead before Justice Binta Inyako. He's facing a 7 count that has been amended, and I'll be telling you some of those counts bordering on inciting treasonable felony, terrorism. Meanwhile, a British envoy in Nigeria has also arrived at the court to witness the trial. Let us remember that Nnamdi Kanu is a British citizen. As much as he has denounced being a Nigerian, he owns a British passport, and it's quite interesting to know that a British envoy has also arrived to witness the proceeding. So it shows the magnitude of this case. It will also be recalled that Kanu, who is also, like I said, a British citizen, his arrest was in June. So when you look at June, this is July, August, September, October, 4 months. I remember when he was presented after he was taken away, kidnapped, for almost 10 days. Nobody knew where he was until the federal government surfaced. But there's something that a lot of Nigerians continue to review back on this case. I'm going to hand over back again to you in the studio, because I know you want to have 1 or 2 words. When Nnamdi Kanu when we were told by the Attorney General of the Federation that Nnamdi Kanu has been kidnapped, but even though the government says he has been arrested, for the 20 minutes of that conversation to the press, the Attorney General of the Federation spoke in Hausa language. I'll come back again to you in the studio.
Wow, that's interesting. Now, let's touch the latter before we move on to now. When somebody has been arrested, brought to a country, and now you have the government spokesperson coming to speak. We know that the language, the national language of Nigeria is English. Now, for the Attorney General to come and speak on the case and speaking only Hausa, what were they trying to do?
Actually, I think there's a disease that came or hit the West African nations, 2 nations,
Ghana and Nigeria.
One in 2015 and another in 2016. Because not too long ago, we also had a similar situation in Ghana when a prosecutor, in fact, actually went to court and was speaking Twi, and there was an outrage. Now, what you can do, there can be an interpreter, but officially, when official business is being conducted, it has to be conducted in the official language. Yes, I understand English might not be our mother tongue, but look, if I have a daughter here, what's her mother tongue? When she grew up to know only English. She might be a Ghanaian, she might be a Nigerian, but she doesn't understand Hausa, she doesn't understand. So if you tell me that my mother tongue is where I was born, that's the language I speak. We adopted English as the official language. We've not come to a point where we say Yoruba, Igbo, or odd other. I mean, Nigeria has over 100 dialects and languages. Now, so for me, I think it's wrong to go and be speaking. Attorney General going to be speaking Hausa in court. One, there are journalists over there that should be reporting, right? The person typing, the judge, had we been told that all of them, and all the witnesses who might be there can speak Hausa? How did we even determine that?
Yeah.
How did we even determine? Because if you come to court and you cannot speak English, you ask provisions to be made for the language, an interpreter.
Yeah.
Now, if assuming I'm covering the case and I flew into the country and we enter a court and you start speaking the Hausa, basically I can sue you for causing financial loss to me, because I came to do my recording, I came to do this thing, knowing that it has to be done or conducted in an official language. If you cannot express yourself in an official language as an attorney general, nothing stops you from telling us, okay, you were appointed based on your tribal leanings, and that you cannot speak English, but you know your Sharia law, and that's how you qualify to be attorney general. You were appointed as attorney general and you want to speak this thing. In that case, the state must appoint what they call it, an interpreter. We do have coaches in this country that cannot speak English, but they're able to coach. I think that is totally unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Now let's come to a little bit of the law that I knew when I was doing press law, habeas corpus. Now this man has been arrested for how long? Every time they go to the court, they never showed it. Now he's appeared in the courts. Yomi has got a picture in his background, but if we don't see his face, we just see.
Would I just
we just see only the top bit of his body. But as to whether seeing him now will make the Biafrans or the IPOP now calm down, know that okay, he's not being maltreated or mistreated or anything, and then looking at the charges that is being leveled against him. I mean, there's no way. It's like taking somebody to an Iranian court. Once you finish the first one, they'll bring another one. They'll be charging you until the
I don't know. For those of us who might have been villages before, sometimes when someone is dead, they can dress the person. When you see the person, you think he's alive.
It's true.
So at the end of the day, Nnamdi Kanu himself, first we know he's alive. I mean, he spoke, people got hold of him, the lawyers has confirmed that is him. It's not a cloned person. Okay, it's not a cloned person. Secondly, we do know that he is in good health. He's not disabled or anything like that. The next thing we need to ensure is that he needs to tell us whether he was actually maltreated or not. That will have to come from him. We cannot ascertain that. How was he fed? Was he denied medical attention? Was he allowed to see his lawyers? Was the family in contact with him? I mean, that has to come from him, because actually, for those who have been, they've entered the sea and come out. They can only tell us whether they saw crocodiles, whether they saw alligator or frogs. But for us, we can only see the body they came out with. As to whether they were beaten by alligators, whatever you call it, catfish or whatever fish, we cannot tell. So we have to. But the good thing is actually seeing him in public. Look, actually, it's a very powerful PR for the government. And if the government were to be smart, I think that's what they should have been doing.
Bring the person, let the person know that he's not being maltreated.
That is it. That's what they should be doing. You know, and you say, look, you try my 100 charges against you. You say, look, if anytime you go to press and say, oh, I'm being treated well, we drop 2.
That would have been, you know, say something good about them. Oh, you have been treated nicely.
And we drop 2.
Well, listeners, Starr Radio UK, we'll try to bring you some pictures of it because I've got a few of them that Yomi has forwarded them to me, so we'll try to do our best to bring it your way. You can assess by yourself to see whether he's been treated fairly. But what is the issue pertaining to his lawyers not being allowed in and only one person maybe being allowed to go in there? Yomi?
Well, I mean, I can confirm that his lead counsel, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, has been granted access into the courtroom. Other lawyers and journalists and representatives of the Apex Igbo Social Cultural Group on Heinz Indigbo were barred from entering the court. I mean, I won't be surprised. Even the case of, you know, the Chief Sunday Igboho with his, you know, some of those Yoruba individuals that were removed from his house. You could see that journalists were bad, you know, individuals were bad. So a case like Nnamdi Kanu is a high-profile case, and that means you know, the government would try as much as possible, you know, to not want as many people in the courtroom, even though this is not allowed again. And this is why so many Nigerians have been questioning so many things. Are we still in military era, or are we back into the civilian rule where a court is open to at least the journalists? But if you play back exactly what happened yesterday during the memorial service of the NSAS, journalists were put into the Black Maria. Individuals were still maltreated. And all these are questions that a lot of people are asking. We also saw there the former governor of Anambra State, Chief Chukwumeka, that was also in attendance as well. But like I said, the court is still ongoing. Whatever the outcome, his legal team will be giving us a background to that, and then we'll be able to know what is the next step. I mean, like I said, looking at the picture behind me, it's only a smile. I mean, yes, like Frank says, we would have to know what happened prior to being kidnapped from that underground car park in Kenya while he was waiting to pick up somebody. Once again, it is still Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi keep bringing you updates from Nigeria. But Frank, like I said, habeas corpus, I mean, he's there with smile on his face. Do you think that will appease his followers, the IPOP, to maybe just chill a bit?
I really do not think appeasing his followers anything that going to have an impact on the court case. At the end of the day, what they want to know is that which direction is the case traveling. That is what. Yes, they will be. They will be filled of joy, at least to the cameras beaming, smiling to the cameras. They would have now be satisfied that look, our man is no more. Is not dead. He's a man that is still alive. But actually, the actual case is where we need to see what is being said. What is being said? How are they? Is Olayomi okay?
Yeah.
We can hear some noise in the background. That's why we are asking.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
The substantive issue is what we might have to look at now. The cases that have been leveled against him. I think the call was coming from WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Okay. Olayomi, someone was trying to get in touch with us via WhatsApp. We'll see if we can pick up the person.
Okay, Yomi, go on. Once we try to,
let me quickly give us some of the the new charges that has been brought against Nnamdi Kanu. Last week, the federal government has slammed amended seven against Nnamdi Kanu, while the federal government issued a hearing notice for this today. So this is what the federal government will be putting in front of Justice Binta. The first one is some of the count that you, Nnamdi Kanu, a male adult of Afara Chukwu, Ibikwe, Umaya North local government area of Abia State, on the 28th of April 2015 in London, United Kingdom, did a broadcast on the Radio Biafra monitored in Enugu State and other part of Nigeria within the jurisdiction of this. Count 3, that you, Nnamdi Kanu, a radio transmitter known as Tramp 50L concealed in a container of used household, which you declare as household item, and you were thereby committed an offense contrary to section 47(2) of the criminal code. Also, that count 3, that we've talked about that. So he was also accused of calling the president name. So that is the area that I wanted to also highlight there. I mean, a lot of us that are outside Nigeria do know that somebody like Donald Trump was called all kind of names, while he was in office. I could also remember during the John Prescott, an egg was thrown at him at some point that I think he returned back a punch as well. So, but again, maybe if the president had the opportunity to see Nnamdi Kanu, will have punched him, by calling him names. But again, these are part of what is going to be argued at the first section of Nnamdi Kanu court case this morning.
Actually, you see, those of us outside might not be, or those of, let's call it, if I say outside, not outside Nigeria, those of us who are not directly implicated in this case, you could be Nigeria, you could be even Nnamdi Kanu supporter. might not know the full range of information, the facts that the security might also have, because if, for instance, there's an evidence linking him to an illegal radio operation or radio transmitter, that under law is crime. But what we then be looking at, the type of punishment that goes along with that, mostly which will be a ban of holding a fine. That is, so some of those things are what we might be looking at. The most serious cases we're looking at will be the issue of terrorism. Now, if for instance they are saying iPod has been declared a terrorist organization, then and he's the leader, then basically looking at that is where the defense might come, where we might not have to interrogate under which circumstances or why will you declare a people who are actually just fighting for cessation, a cessation of their area, which is what everybody does anyway, terrorists, especially when one, they've not officially broken away, all they are doing is complaining, which is their right within democracy. Those are some of the things that we're gonna look at, because if you say that because they've expressed opinion to break away, it constitutes a terrorism act. Basically, what you are telling us that anyone, all of us who may basically disagree what a leader is doing in the name of Nigeria
should be labeled a terrorist.
Is basically falling into that category.
Okay, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Shadimu, thank you very much. He listed out the lawyers who have been barred from entering and all the other story that Mr. Olayomi Koiki has shared with us. But if you are listening to us and you want to share with us what is happening there, feel free. You can post it on our Facebook page, and we will let you also, text or WhatsApp it to us as well. Okay. Yomi, which are some of the other stories making the rounds in Nigeria today? Yomi, we can't hear you.
That I had to mute the background earlier. Yes, no dispute over ownership of Benin artifacts, says Oba of Benin. That is coming from the headline. A man has been electrocuted while connecting wire in Ondo State. It's not the first time that we've seen people trying to connect, wires. According to what we have, a man identified as Mayomi was last Tuesday electrocuted in Akungba, Akoko, Southwest Local Government Area of Ondo State. NYSC makes concession to married and pregnant nursing mothers. Just like so many other countries around the globe, when you complete your university, you'll be in Nigeria. You have to take what we call the National Youth Service Corps in Nigeria. But it seems the National Youth Service Corps has now introduced a new policy to mobilization process by allowing married women, pregnant and nursing mothers to present documents that show evidence of their being married to camp officials with proof of their husbands being resident in a particular state, and then get registered without approaching the scheme for redeployment. According to the Director General NYSC, Brigadier General Sheubu Ibrahim disclosed this during the press briefing in Abuja yesterday. Ibrahim was represented at the event by the Director of Press and Public Relations, Mrs. Adenike Adeyemi, says that all married women who can show evidence that they are married and that their husbands reside in the particular state will be registered in NYSC camp in that particular state. Let's touch on some other headline as well. It's exactly 11:38. It's a Thursday edition of the morning show with myself, Frank Archie, and some of our other presenters that will be joining us in due course. Okonko, insecurity has caused by years of leaders and followers failures. According to also the Sultan of Sokoto, use education to fight religious extremist insecurity. Sultan of Sokoto tells the army. We know that is a big voice in the northern part of the country. The Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammadu Sahid Abubakar III, has called on the Nigerian army to use education to those religious extremists in the country. Abubakar made the appeal yesterday at the International Conference Center in Kasarawa in Sokoto State. Remember, I did tell us on Monday that on Sunday evening, 60 innocent lives were killed by terrorists as well. And likewise, this morning, we've also getting report of another terrorist kidnapping in Nigeria. And I'm going to be telling you where in Nigeria and what particular area. I'm going to put together the social media so that by the time I come back, we can review everything in one go. Once again, if you've just joined us, it is still your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. When we talk about the situation of insecurity in Nigeria, just like the Sultan of Sokoto was saying, let's make use of education to doze off some of this problem. But what is the statistics when we talk about most of the children out of school today in Nigeria? We have just about 13 million of them that are out of school. Terrorists killed 4, adopted 9 persons in Kaduna, just as we continue to talk about the insecurity. Also, just coming in just about 2 hours before we came on air on this morning show, we can confirm. I'm also seeing a video emerge of a military officer reprehended a police officer for unprofessional conduct during a protest management. So again, we've seen that yesterday how most of the police have literally mishandled many Nigerians as well. I can tell you, just like I said, I'm just trying to bring the one of the insecure. Yes, I've got it here. Terrorists adopt over 30 passengers commuting along Zunguru Garbas Highway in the local government area, Rafi local government area, and that is in Niger State. So again, 30 individuals have been adopted this morning as we speak as well. So most of what is trending on the social media this morning, I'm sure you know that, is the conversation around Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So let's see what we can pick from there. 11:41. It is Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Remember to follow us on all our social media handles, on Twitter, on Instagram, and likewise, you can also reach out to us. So when I look at what is
just a minute. When it came to the school dropout, Frank wanted to make an
I wanted to do a bit of clarification. Are these the whole population in Nigeria? Because if you're looking at the total population of Nigeria, and we're talking about 13 million dropout, Archie, I mean,
not dropped out, not even in school at all.
They've not been not dropped out. They've not.
So illiterate. No, so okay, so it is not people who are of school age and are not in school, but we are talking of people who have not had the opportunity to go to school. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, 13 million.
Because that would have been that clarification was in there, because 13 million out of the number that is required to be Nigerian population about 190 million.
Yeah.
So if you are taking a youth of about, let's say, 90 million, you take care of the children about 50 million, or school of age about 50 or 40 million. If you're going to talk about 13 million being out, that would have been very huge overdue. That's what I was concerned. Thanks for the clarification.
Okay, listen, let's start Radio UK. Mr. Olayomi, quickly, let's go to the social media platform. Yomi. Okay, I think Yomi's line is frozen.
Yeah, I think I think is the network from my side here. Yeah, I mean there's that. So you're quite right. 13 million, out of school. But again, just like and if we have 13 million out of school, that means they're prone to all kind of maltreatment. Just like the Sultan of Sokoto was also saying there, and sometimes they could be used, as those children, engage in the, in the terrorism activities happening in Nigeria as well, because they're just roaming around across, the length and breadth of the country as well. So yes, I was just going to give us some of the snips of the social media this morning. It's all focused on the NSAS of yesterday, and then coming this morning of also Nnamdi Kanu as well. So let's see what people are saying around it as well. According to the Igbo History Fact at Igbo History Fact, some 4 hours ago, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be today at 11 a.m. arraigned before Abuja High Court. His crime was his agitation for a Biafran nation with demand for a free and fair legal trial and his unconditional release. Also, Sonto Okonkwo, with the picture just like we've been showing as well of Nnamdi Kanu as well. Again, bring Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to court today. I think that was probably maybe before people realized that he might be brought to court. I mean, there was a lot of skepticism that whether he will be in court or not, but we can now confirm he's in the court. 11:44 in Abuja, and the court proceeding is still ongoing. Just in lawyers also deny access. That is also coming as well. But then let's touch on some of those answers, conversation as well. Then I come back finally to you in the studio where we can, bring this morning broadcast as well. According to CNN Africa, 1 year on, Nigerian government calls Lekki Toge shooting phantom massacre as police in Lagos arrest fire tear gas at the #EndSARS Memorial Demonstrator. The government is still believing that nothing happened in last year is just a phantom. Also, yesterday I saw the harassment of one of the mainstream media presenter yesterday. Female, well handled by some of the security officers. Regardless of whether she was a female or not, it wouldn't have been tolerated in this kind of environment that we live. Again, just before coming finally, EndSARS protester Okechukwu Peter has been arrested at the Lekki toll gate for protesting, and also his phone was seized. So we hope those that have been arrested will be released as quickly as possible. But Nigerians will remember what happened yesterday, what happened last year, and it seems the wound is not going anywhere because the government is still not ready to have a conversation.
Well, is the government ready to have a conversation or not? Well, we know as media people, we will give them the platform for people to air their views or their take on issues or how they are feeling in their communities. Well, so let me say thank you very much to Mr. Olayomi Koiki for that wonderful update. We will catch up later, sir.
Don't touch the dial. You still have Frank and Archie to take you through the rest of the segment of this morning show on Starr Radio UK. We are the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, and I'm sure you'll be enjoying the remaining part with Kojo D that will be joining as well. And for me, I'll be back again same time tomorrow. Bye for now.
To go. I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Yes, I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. I want to know. Many years after independence, we still find it hard to start. How long shall we be patient before we reach the promised land? Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way? Which way Nigeria? Tell me. Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. Yes, I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Every little thing that goes wrong, we start to blame the government. We know everything that goes wrong because we are part of the government. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way? Where to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Inefficiency and indiscipline is ruining the country now. Corruption here, there, and everywhere. Inflation is soaring high. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way was our doom. Some people now have everything, while many, many have nothing. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't fall. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Yes, I want to know.
This is Starr Radio UK.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
It's a reality. Let's give it a chance to grow. Let's join our hands to farm the land so we can have enough food to show. Let's save Nigeria so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way?
Well, which way Nigeria buys the late Sonny Okuson? Well, so when you listen to that song, then you ask yourself, really, where is Nigeria going? Where will they get to? There is a Ghanaian one song by one of Ghana's best bands that ever had been. That is Osibisa band, and he says we are going. Heaven knows where we are going. I think that is in response to Which Way Nigeria by Sonny Okuson. But it is already UK. This afternoon, exactly at 5 p.m., we'll be bringing you the Renew Show with Charlotte Odum. Well, we'll be telling you more about that program during the course of the program this morning or in the afternoon. Watch our social media platforms. You will see what we'll be discussing there. And then at 6 o'clock, we'll bring you the repeat broadcast of what happened last Tuesday on BB Means Business. And the question was, how has the black companies or businesses, where have we got to? Can we say that we've actually achieved? Can we say that we've arrived? Well, you want to know more? Make a date on that repeat broadcast with BB Clement on BB Means Business. Then at 7 o'clock, it will all be unraveling once again. The Property Hour Show with KB Bossman, Vicky Newton, and a special guest that they'll be bringing your way as they normally do. But for now, it is the morning show with me in the studio, Mr. Frank Davis. I am Archie. Okay. Now, let's look at what is happening here in the UK front. But if you have any stories or anything you want to comment on, feel free to do so. Doctors call for COVID Plan B to start in England. Now, we have other stories talking about Wales, where at the moment, they say the Welsh hospitals are virtually being, swept over by COVID infections and stuff like that. So, some doctors, again, scientists, saying that, look, these are the telltale signs, let's act now. Yesterday, or the day before yesterday, you were of the view, when we were asking that the numbers seem to be going up, you were of the view that, oh, no, we shouldn't worry about it because they are looking at the economical implications, not the NHS per se. But with the figures now, what do you think should be?
I do not agree with the doctors on this issue. I think I'll go along with the government on this. Look, to what end are we going to continue locking in the country? Reasonable precautions, fine. But if we're going to go to a point of locking back the country, Archie, and bring it, then the understanding here is that the virus is going to live with us for years. Yes, I understand the doctors are doing their job by trying to, for them, they are not looking at the other. Look, you've got a whole room. Yours is to look into the wardrobe. All they are looking into the wardrobe is into the wardrobe. As to what is happening to the bed, under the bed, on top of the wardrobe, under the wardrobe, whether the floor is no, they don't. But the government is the one who is looking the wardrobe holistically. See, actually, let's look at it this way: the numbers are increasing that year, but there's some very important variable in the mix that we didn't have a year ago. Which is the vaccine. Okay. Now the idea of this vaccine is to be able to control the virus, right? So if we're going to have a situation where upon vaccine we still behave as if there's no vaccine at all, it's an insult to the scientists. That means every solution that they have done, the investment that has gone to the vaccine has come to useless, and come to now people who have subjected themselves to all kind of headaches as a direct result of, AstraZeneca and all those kind of stuff. It's useless. Look, where it is now, we need to learn how to manage it. Those who taking the vaccine, go ahead and take your vaccine. But I always will say that precaution will need to be, what should be on everyone's lips, because at the end of the day, look, we know we have to wash our hands. I go to a shop yesterday. I was with when I went shopping with Frances. You see the rails? Yeah. I wouldn't touch them.
No, not touch them at all.
I always have a wipe. What they call it? Wet wipe. Yeah. In the car, I have to always. Those were some of the things that I didn't do in the first place. Actually, can you imagine the number of times that we stretch our hand to take toffee or any peanut without washing our hands?
Finger food, just put it in your mouth, and then we are still going.
You go to a funeral after getting out of your car, or someone brings about peanuts and
then you just pick it.
Even we still do it today. People still do it today. Can you imagine the amount of debt that were? So, for whatever reason, COVID has brought a bit of awareness to a bit of hygiene. Cleanliness, and other things. I have an uncle who not wear any other clothes apart from white.
That's a good one.
He tells me that, look, white is able to determine how much they have accumulated. So if he goes to town and come back, and the white is but for this white, all this debt would have ended.
And then you need to cover his face.
You go to his room, everything is white. He has this white, nice, those white, nice white slippers. Yeah, that's what. Everything he bitches and everything. He wouldn't move anything apart from white.
We have to call him Mr. White.
Are you getting me? So actually, in my view, look, yes, measures we should continuously encourage ourselves to take precaution. Mask, yes, I will understand we should wear them, but if we're going to get to a point where we're gonna start those kind of long social distancing, you see someone's like an enemy, you also, as if you go fishing, you throw a hook, and then you are standing now. I don't think what the essence of what they call it? What the essence of the vaccine?
But don't you think that if you are saying, okay, let things be, then there could be the tendency of government introducing vaccine passports?
There's no need for vaccine passport either. Why need for vaccine passport? At the end of the day, it doesn't make sense. Like, we are being told that 100 people are in a room, 80 have vaccinated, and we are saying that, look, if 80 vaccinates, we even achieving herd immunity. Without vaccination at all, we are saying that if about 65 to 70% of people get infected, we have achieved herd immunity. Technically, as we think, England has achieved herd immunity because the number of people who are vaccinated is over 80%. Okay, so we have achieved that. So if the herd immunity is what will save us, we have achieved that. Now, COVID passport, what would you do? Calling power. You would have had passport and would have still died. You would have had
a passport and a visa, and
it would have still died. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
Look, we've been able to sequence this virus. We know those who are most vulnerable.
Yeah.
The elderly are more vulnerable. We're doing everything possible to a point where we're even giving them booster. This is booster 1. Actually, booster 2 is coming.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Booster 3, up to booster 6. That's what. So you're looking at
every year booster, whether twice.
No, this is twice booster. Are you getting me? So basically, we're going to be having boosters. The others that we know the casualties among the age group is minimal.
Yeah.
Why are we rushing? In my view, I think what we need to do now is that, look, for those who are vaccinated, thank God. Those who have not vaccinated, will continue to encourage them if they want to vaccinate. If not, but necessary precaution will be taken. But I do not think we should go to a point where we start basically locking down again, shouting too much about hospitals and other things. People are we're being too over careful.
Now, when it comes to hospitalization, where in England, that's where these people are coming from. If it happens to go up, or the NHS seem to be overwhelmed in England, then what would be your recommendation?
That would be the vaccination. The vaccines have failed. The vaccines have failed. Because if we're going to have the NHS overwhelmed, it means that the vaccines have failed.
Yeah, they didn't do what they're supposed to.
Because we are told that the vaccines are supposed to reduce the sicknesses and reduce the amount of the serious illness.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's going to require someone to go to hospital is when they are seriously ill. Anyway, I've got a friend who just had COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, she's home, a young girl, she's home.
Yeah.
I mean, she's recovering. Another thing, I mean, you had people who had COVID.
Yeah.
It didn't get to a point they needed to go to hospital to be hospitalized.
Yeah. It didn't.
Are you getting me?
Yeah.
So we're dealing with different groups of people. If it gets to a point where we see hospitalization rates going up, then the COVID has failed.
Yeah, the vaccines.
The vaccines have failed. Because it might not have achieved nothing. I mean, you have compromised our natural immune system for nothing, for short-term gains. I really want to see, it go for, and we see hospitalization. That's why I'm not worried about infection numbers. Because if infections, we know, vaccinating is not like putting yourself
in a capsule where you will not be. Yeah.
Where, in a capsule where, they come. You know those robots. They say you come, you hit, you go, you go.
Yeah.
That is not it. Vaccine does not stop that. You can still get a virus, but we know transmission rates are reduced.
Yeah.
One will be worried. I'll say, okay, well, if transmission rates can be reduced by the vaccine, why are we then having more numbers, more infections? Simple. It's because we are interacting more.
Yeah.
We're interacting more. The number of people that are going on the buses, and even London now, next 4 days, a lot of us, they want us to stop driving, taking public. Do you know what it means? Risks. Because we need to take more buses than taking. They are now even signaling that credit areas and other things are going to be micro-zoned to stop driving. Yeah, so it's not like that. They're going to do localized ULEZ. Are you getting me? Localized.
Let's get the scooters out, man.
Let's get them out because I cannot go to my leader and walk with my bag of.
What's the sense?
It makes no
sense. You go shopping and then you.
And again, they are telling us today that time is of no. It's not as important as those who design the system view time, because we know public transport is not as fast timely as the private transport.
Yeah.
So Archie, we're going to expose ourselves more to risk, and the risk will be more infection. So I'm not worried.
Okay.
But when it gets to a point where hospitalization seriously goes up and we have death rates increasing, we would like to know those who are dying, are they the Colin Powers or they are the genius? We want to know those who are vaccinated, what is the rate of death among them, and those who did not vaccinate. Because if you're talking for 80% vaccination rate, Archie, and only 20% that have not been vaccinated, I see no reason why we should have a lot of serious.
It's true. We should have had herd immunity by now.
It makes no sense to me. It means the vaccines. Then the government has failed.
Yeah,
the
spent money, lots of money for nothing.
The vaccines have failed. They should have just given us sobolo. Distributed sobolo, and we all drink and go.
Sister Gina, bring us some sobolo. She's the one who prepares the sobolo.
Some sobolo and pepper soup. Who would have been probably better off.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It's gone 3 minutes past 12. Let me announce the lines open and then we can move on to some other stories. Yes, if you want to join in, call us on 0208 133 2257 or 58 0208 133 2257 or 58. If you are in the US, Canada, Caribbean areas, yes, it is 0017183032737 0017183032737. And then you can text or WhatsApp as 07539661744 07539661744. Our Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK and email address is info@starradiouk.com. And let me say good morning to Kojo D, who has also joined us. Kojo.
Yeah, it's good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Sorry. See, I'm still living in the morning.
Good morning to some people in Ghana.
Of course.
To others in the US.
And
Canada.
Yes.
Let's say North America.
Mm.
So that's in order.
Yes. How are you?
I'm all right. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Plan B for the being called by the doctors in England. How do you take that?
Part of the Plan B is already been implemented anyway. I think part of the Plan B is for people to exercise caution, is for people to use their judgment, is for people to use their wisdom. I mean, it is not government is not saying a complete stoppage of using of face masks and other hygiene purposes. There are some places literally. I went to the GP surgery the other day. It was as if there was still a lockdown, right? Use hand sanitizer. You cannot enter the surgery without not being in a face mask. Once you enter in the reception, well, the doctor's receptionist is telling you use hand sanitizer, and they're ensuring you use it. They're ensuring the face mask is worn properly, is covering your nose and your mouth. And when you go into the waiting area, they have a certain number of people that have to be in the waiting area. And again, there are social distances of 2 meters in the social or the waiting area. So part of the Plan B is already been implemented. I go to shops and I still see people in face masks. Government is not saying don't worry. If you want, you can still go into the shop with face masks. You can still maintain your social distancing. You can still stay away from people. So that's part of the Plan B. But I think the extensive nature of what the BMA is calling for is Northern Ireland and Scottish and Welsh government styles, where face mask is still mandatory in schools. We already know that face mask is mandatory on public transport in London and some parts of England, but just that it's not been really enforced as it is. Look, my daughters are in university now, because of the university still having a certain system in place. They are just still doing online learning with in-person learning. But the way they structured it, one of my daughters told me, it's only when you have lab that you go into the lab. So in a week, some of them are only going thrice a week because they need to use the labs. And the in-person lectures, which is not a lab kind of thing that you need to do, what if the universities have done is that they are rotating them. My daughter told me one of the lectures, there are 40 of them in a lecture. So what they've done is 20 people go this way, they still maintain that social distancing within the lecture hall of 2 meters. So originally the lecture halls take roughly about 50 people. It's been reduced to 20 people. So this week you go, the next group goes next week, and you still continue, except it's a lab work. Then you go into the lab to do it. Or if you have a seminar, you go into the seminar to do it. And even that, you're not going to the seminar, you're spending short time. Some of the seminar times have been reduced. So it's still, being maintained. But the problem we have in England or in the UK as a whole is that the numbers are still rising. Infection rates are still going up. So do we do ourselves any good? Like we said the other day, some of the parts in Europe, they are still having the second jabs, but we are probably going on to boosters. So we might have our immunities have waned down a bit. So let's put it that way. So more and more people are getting infected, and in the hospitals there are a lot of pregnant women also getting infected.
More.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the vaccine
rollout,
you know what happened? Pregnant women, as with all things, if you are pregnant, you can't even take paracetamol. So you have to understand, they were not sure how it was going to interact with the pregnancy until they are 100% sure it's safe. So that accounts for so many of the pregnant women in hospital at the moment. But what do we do? Like they say, we still continue to live with it. Just like flu, I think the difference between various kinds of vaccines is that this is a viral kind of vaccine. So I'm not trying to really compare it to the flu vaccine. Flu is also viral. They are all in the same category. The similar category, but just that COVID is quite deadly. It will take you in a matter of weeks. You are gone. But with the flu, which also kills a lot of, again, people within that same age bracket that COVID wiped out, is the same emphasis. So we've all been very hygienic in the last 18 months. So people hadn't even actually had flu or even the common cold, because our interaction with people are so limited. It's like going into the Brazilian Amazon, and I go there, and those people in the thick of the Amazon who hadn't been exposed to any of these things, I interact with them. I mean, that would be a complete death nail in their coffin. I'll wipe them off the face of the earth. So what do? We still have to be wise. Even with booster jabs, if we are being told that your immunity to COVID wanes off gradually, and you still have a booster, it means that probably every year, like a flu virus, will still be having boosters. I mean, the flu virus, every year you have a booster. However, I haven't had any flu jabs in my life.
Jamais de la vie.
I've never had it. I have not.
Why? Because I have not interacted with the greater number of people who are likely to have that. If I were working in a hospital or the care sector, I would probably be required to have it. If I were working in a school, I would probably be required to have it. Which I'm not working in a school, I'm not in any of those settings. Some expectant mothers are also required to have it because of their interaction with certain groups of people. So the children pass it around a lot. So you need to have it. Where there are mass gatherings, there's always that kind of thing that it will pass around. I don't know when was the last time I ever had flu. I can't remember not having.
Even if you have it, even if you have it, I mean, the bottom line is that the flu vaccines are not the only solutions to flu. I mean, I've had flu, I've had cold.
I've had flu.
But the common cold is slightly different.
But when you have man flu, now you know say you are right.
When you have flu, fisherman is there.
That fisherman thing, lozenges.
No. What I'm saying, I'm saying that fisherman. There's a fisherman and there's a fisherman. There could be pepper soup. There could be some black pepper plus something a go with it. You never can tell. But I'm saying that there are various ways of. I mean, our bodies respond. Like what you're saying, I mean, Plan B is already what we are doing. So to go and be locking down again, it means I mean the vaccine. What they use. Because that was the use of the vaccines.
Then I think that maybe there should be more encouragement in getting people out there or making the vaccine. I mean, especially those who have to get the boosters, especially, and making it more available rather than people.
I think they are doing it. But the other problem you're having again is that there's another layer of hesitancy that is creeping into the vaccine community, because at the end of the day, people who have had one or two, some are saying they will not go for the third.
Because of the reaction that they had from that.
A friend of mine said, unless they come and take him, split her and put the vaccine, she's never going. She's never going to go for it. So there's a bunch of people who didn't want the first one. and they rightly didn't have it, and they are justified for whatever their explanations are. Then there's a second batch of people who had the first, second, and I said the third one. I wasn't told booster will come. I wouldn't have taken.
They are increasing it in me. Well. Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. 14 minutes past 12 the time, the morning show. With me in the studio, Mr. Frank Davis, and we have Kojo D in South London on the line as well. But let me say a good afternoon to Caroline Cooper. Okay, we hear your advert that you posted there. We hear you. Okay, now let's move on to some other stories making the rounds. I mean, from here and other parts of the world. Come the 25th of October, the ULEZ is going to be introduced. Now, you were talking about the fact that where they are going to be having like a smaller sporadic areas where there's going to be ULEZ. So virtually they are trying to squeeze. I don't know, those of us in the UK, so that we become greener, whether we have to be wearing green clothes or whatever. But a huge leak of documents that has been seen shows how countries are trying to change crucial scientific report on how to tackle climate change. Now, the leak reveals Saudi Arabia, Japan, and Australia are among countries asking the UN to play down the need to move rapidly away from the fossil fuels. Now, it also shows some wealthy nations are questioning paying more to poorer states to move to greener technologies. The lobbying raises questions for the COP26 climate summit in November. The leak reveals countries pushing back on UN recommendation for action and comes just days before they will be asked to at the summit to make significant commitment to slow down climate change and keep global warming to 1.5 degrees. Now, we all know, I mean, that global warming, there's a bit of heat that is, I mean, going on, and therefore we have the Arctic that is melting and stuff like that, and there is the seas levels are rising and stuff like that. We don't dispute that at all. But for some, you've been talking about the fact that you drive to London, they tell you that this particular area you cannot come in because of pollution. But just at the border of it, you can drive around there, and we know that when it comes to pollution, it doesn't stay at one place. It's in the air. So as the wind blows, it blows it to wherever. So Japan can be doing something, Saudi Arabia can be doing something, we might be doing something here, yet what they are doing can have an influence on us. So for the UK to take a step where things are going to be very tough, and looking at all this, it's not going to be cheap. If government is coughing up something, individuals will have to also cough up. Going to buy electric cars and going to be the great. It's actually, not a child play.
The electric car option is, for me, is a non-starter for the majority of people. Archie, anyone listening to us can do a quick search on Auto Trader. Now, when you type in Auto Trader and you look for electric car, the second-hand electric car, the cheapest you get is around 2,000, 4,000. Okay, now that 2,000, 4,000 electric car take you for 17 miles, and then you have to recharge. The another one takes you about 4,000 something. You have to charge it 7 hours for it to even be ready to move. And actually, practically, the average electric car that is reasonable now, you look at about 20,000 plus. A new electric car, even Nissan Leaf, that little car that when you driving at 40 miles, you start beginning to see that it started dancing on motorway. If will be tied with a truck that
goes by you,
very light. So yes, we know that the ultimate goal that we should all be heading towards. Greener this thing. Actually, but the rate at which they want to move is going to impact on a lot of people, and they will say, okay, public transport will provide alternative, but again, the alternative that don't. If I am going to do handiwork at Kojo's place, how do I carry my jacksaw, my everything behind my tools? How do I carry them? If I go and buy my goat meat, how do I carry it? There's
from Romford.
It doesn't work. I go to Lidl, maybe I carry my tomatoes. There are certain things that practically impossible. It can't be possible. We are not saying that look, climate will not have a effect on. If you look at ULEZ, for instance, no one disputing the fact that nitrogen oxide has effect on
environment.
us.
Yeah.
Not even on environment, on ourselves.
Humans, yeah.
It has effect on our lungs. We breathing in, it causes a bit people with asthma more probably give it. So we understand, but you see, you do not punish people who are already sufferers. They are telling us that, okay, look, when we introduce congestion charge and other things, we saw a 30% decrease in the number of vehicles. In fact, they said the ULEZ brought down on a daily basis to stop 24,000 cars entering the zone.
The congestion charge.
Not the ULEZ.
The ULEZ. Okay.
They are now projecting that what they are doing will reduce emission by 30%. I mean, the new one they are introducing now, and they are saying that is not going to be the end. They will monitor it. If it doesn't work, they will do micro targeting, that cars cannot drive to certain areas. Is that not what they are doing already? They've done it.
They've done it.
Because the road that the blocked is basically what you've done. I mean, you go close to a school now. There are certain
times that you cannot drive.
So basically, they've implemented that, and their target. You see, everything that they say, they are not talking about the profitability that they're looking at.
Another one will buy a condition to
the
blow
extension of the ULEZ zone is going to affect over 350,000 cars, and I'm one of them. My car is one of them. It's going to raise 2 million per day.
If you decide to use it there.
That's the after, because people still must go on. A friend of mine said, Frank, now, she said,
yeah.
Mean to me, she bought her car. I mean, she bought a car not too long ago, about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
A Jeep.
Yeah.
A diesel Jeep 2016 registered, 2015 registered. He said, Frank, I've just paid 80,000 for the car.
You can't say that you're going to.
I said, what am I going to do? I'm not going to go and finance and be financing another car again and sell this car. If they value the car, it was like an insult that we're trying to get because it's diesel car. Are you getting me? So the question is, what should I do? If she has to pay, she's not going to be paying, and that's going to be raising £2 million for the mayor. The question is, is money? They just listen, the way they use COVID, they just using climate to extort money from. But that's the way I look at it. Because if you look at it technically, when they were introducing congestion charge, there are cities that even introduced congestion, but not congestion. When I was above, there are areas that you cannot drive to. So that's what we call park and ride. You park and you hop on the bus. It's because of congestion, traffic, and other. They don't want. They made it more pedestrian because it's a tourist city. But Archie, this congestion charge they introduce, they are not telling us if you have electric car, you can enter the congestion zone.
Yeah.
So what congestion are you stopping? It's money making, actually.
I'm thinking that maybe scientists now have to up their games. Maybe they come with something, a converter thing, so that it can be put on whether it's a diesel, whatever. You put it on it can convert it and reduce the emission on it.
They are doing it already, isn't it? I think Kojo, they are doing it. They are fitting some cars with emission reducing what they call it, equipment. They are doing it.
Okay.
I mean, the best way forward, but they are not going to do it because no government is going to approve that. Is to go and get what they call it, a hydrogen car. A Japanese scientist has just developed a hydrogen car running on pure water, only water.
If they do that, how can they make money?
That is it.
You want to use your bathroom water to run? Kojo.
Well, let's put it this way. Let's go back to the foundation for your question. Right, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Japan, Australia.
Doing that. Saudi Arabia's economy is largely built around fossil fuels.
Yeah.
So you can understand, if the world says let's go green, that is a chunk of their economy gone.
Yeah.
All the influence they've been exerting on the rest of the world by occasionally, because they dominate OPEC.
Yeah.
So occasionally, what do? They reduce the supply of crude oil, and the prices jump up. Exactly. And that benefits their economy. And they control the whole OPEC organization. That's what they are doing. So if you are saying go is softly, softly, then you have to really understand where they are coming from. And if you have countries like India also saying that, again, India have large, massive coal mines. And the economy is built around coal mines. So what do you want India to do? You also take the same route. Let's go is softly, softly.